kicking up steam. Go get 'em, Tiger. There'll be joy in Tiger Town. We'll sing you songs when the Bengals bring the pennant home where it belongs. We're all behind our baseball team. Go get 'em. Detroit Tigers. Go get 'em, Tigers.
Go get 'em, Tigers. Joel, we're in the World Series. I'm Dennis Dick, and this is Premarket Info.
And I'm Joel Alconin, and ready for those Tigers to take on either the Cardinals or the Giants.
Exciting day for us there last night. Back to the World Series we go. But let's talk this market. This is the Honey Badger market. We got to give our friend at Benzinga there, Sam, a shout out here this morning, because he was tweeting out yesterday saying this is the Honey Badger market, and he is exactly right. This market does not care what the news is. It just keeps holding up or going up. We're going to talk about earnings from Google, Microsoft, General Electric, Honeywell, Chipotle, Sandisk, Parker Hannifin, and Mickey D's. Joel, the Honey Badger market doesn't care about Google earnings, doesn't care that GE didn't report well. We're still only down 3 points overall. This market just continues to hold up.
Yeah, just think if Google would have missed by more, you know? I don't know. I mean, I'm at a lot. I mean, you have had some decent earnings. You had some decent earnings out of Travelers, one of the few companies. This market just is holding up right now. It's just such a tempting short just to lay them out. But it just keeps holding on. So the only thing you can do as a trader is look at the technicals and try and get a game plan. And my game plan this morning is looking at the low from yesterday at 47.75. That coincides with Wednesday's low. I'll play it close to the belt as long as we hold 14.46. You know, I'm going to try and play this market from the long side. I think you take out 14.46 and you got some easy real estate down to 14.34.5.
Let's start with Google, because that was obviously the disaster stock of yesterday. First of all, reporting earnings in the middle of the day. R.R. Donnelly, I guess, messed up and disclosed or reported the earnings in the middle of the day. Was supposed to report after hours. Caught everybody by surprise. The earnings were an absolute disaster. $9.03 against estimates of $10.63. They don't typically provide guidance. Maybe they should start providing guidance, because the market was not prepared for this big of a miss.
The world's largest tech company one of the world's largest tech companies cannot get their earnings release out properly. That's such a comforting thing to know in this market, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it seems like with technical glitches in the market, with technical glitches getting earnings released, it seems like technical glitches is the story of this market.
Yeah, it's too bad, because we were talking about how there's always a 50-point swing after the close when earnings are released. And, boy, some of those puts were cheap but didn't pull the trigger. We did get down to 676 yesterday when the panic, and then they halted it. Good thing they reopened it, because I think that would have created a little bit more of a fervor if they wanted to release the earnings. But what traders need to pay attention to here is 707 is the highest it's been in the pre-market. A ton of consolidation going around here around the $700 level. This thing is going to be wild today, so hold your hat on. If it could get above and hold 700, this thing has a chance to rally. Besides that 676 low, you got to take a look at the September 4th low is 673.50 to act as support. If not, then you're getting back into this whole 660 area. But it's just amazing. I mean, we talk about this a lot, look how long it took from July to middle of October, to rally, almost 200 points. And then in one day, in 1 second, it gives a quarter of it back.
Yeah, up like an escalator, down like an elevator. That is the story. Microsoft reported last night too, not having a good day either. I actually got short this one after hours at 29.75. Again, I covered too soon. I covered at 29.35, so I took a quick 40 cents on it. But the stock's now trading down at 28.86. The numbers were 65 cents against 53, so looking pretty good off the headline numbers. But there was an adjustment in there for a one-time gain, so you had the actual numbers were really just 53 cents against 53 cents, so they came in line actually, and I think once the market realized that they didn't really blow the cover off of it, they started to sell it off.
Yeah, you did go right into that triple top area. 29.85 was the high it got in the pre-market. That coincides with the three of the 4 previous days highs in the mid 29.70s. The initial spike down after that took it down to 28.24.
Wow.
And now you've got a rise back a little over 29 you were able to get to. A lot of consolidation here, right around 29. If, in fact, Microsoft can get back above 29, have a little chance to rally. We can use yesterday's low as resistance, 29.26. If you come back down again, I really like the 28.32 to 39 levels. That was a double bottom back in the beginning of June.
General Electric reported here this morning. The numbers were 36 cents against the estimates of 36 cents. Revenue was a bit light, 36.3 billion against estimates of 36.9 billion. So that's why they're hitting the stock a little bit. They knocked it down a little further earlier, down to 22.32. It's now trading 22.53, so down just about 30 cents here. So not a complete disaster for GE, but not good either.
Market doesn't care.
Market
really
don't care.
doesn't.
This honey badger market, it don't care. We got to give Sam a shout out. When he tweeted that out yesterday, I was laughing. He tweeted out, it's a great YouTube video if you go to YouTube and the honey badger. But basically, the honey badger is like the world's most fearless creature. It doesn't care. It just eats. It doesn't care. It goes into beehives. It basically eats all the honey out of the beehives, gets stung 1,000 times, and it don't give a shit. It just keeps eating the honey and doesn't care that it's getting stung. It fights cobras. It eats cobras. Cobra bites it don't care. It just keeps going. It just keeps doing what it's doing. This market don't care. Google bad earnings, it don't care. IBM bad earnings, it don't care. GE's have bad earnings this morning, it really don't care. We're still only down 3 points after all these. Like, there really hasn't been a decent earnings report. Travelers, we had Travelers. What other company have we had reports so far that hasn't just completely shit the bed?
I don't know, but you just have to respect what the market's doing. You got to look at the 22.29 low that it made in the pre-market. You're getting a bounce back up here to the 20.60 level. Interestingly, I was watching GE trade near the close, and I was looking at it. Oh, I think this thing might close was trading up around 22.95, 23, and then whoosh on the close. It dropped about 20 cents, closed on the low of the day. 22.80 was the low, closed at 22.81. I think someone might have had a little inkling here of the bad news. Looking at GE, you have not traded in the low 22s here for quite a while. So I keep an eye on that pre-market low 22.29 if we can in fact get there. Coming back on the upside, you got to believe that 22.80 yesterday's low and close would be major resistance. But I think if you want to sell it, I think you're going to have to get out ahead of that in order to get a sell-off in GE.
Mickey D's reported here too. Flat out miss. $1.43 against a $1.48, so they flat out miss. The stocks trade down $2 here this morning. 90.75 after closing 92.86. We have run into support in that 90.27 area, and interesting enough, we got down to $90 right on the button on the report there just after 8 a.m. Eastern. So that whole 90 area continues to remain support. We start cutting through that area, it does open up.
Yeah, boy, this could be like another accordion chart here, as we were talking. Just goes up and down with the news and the same store sales and everything. But you are correct, Dennis. It did hit 90 in the pre-market. Has gotten a nice bounce off of that $90 level since trading 90. It's running into trouble at 91 here, so keep an eye on that level. If in fact it takes out 90. You have a low going back to September 6th is 89.56. But Mickey D's is one stock, heavily traded stock. A lot of times will give you a counter trend move off a big up or down opening.
Well, remember when I think it was when it reported last time, opened the rate at that 86 handle, and then back in August, and then it just bounced. Actually, that would have been the same store sales. It wouldn't have been the report then because it would have been August. But they had bad same store sales. I can remember it opened right down to that old support at 86, and then rallied straight up 2 points, hung out, and then obviously over the course of the next month just continued to rally. So some of these value stocks like McDonald's, they do find buyers at certain key levels. 90 is a big level, but just be careful. If it starts taking out, starts trading 89.75, remember, always know where your out is. Chipotle, CMG, Einhorn was dogging this thing a couple of weeks ago there, and obviously he turns out to be correct again. The kid's a genius. You just got to listen to what he says. The stock was trading at 310 that day back on October 2nd. He started saying stuff at the investor conference there, the Value Investing Congress, and the stock fell 20 points when he said that Chipotle is a short. Well, everybody kind of forgets, and it slowly started to rally back up and kind of to test the $300 area. That didn't work out. Closed at $285. Now the stock is trading at $248. They missed, and the revenue was light. So Einhorn, right again.
Have you you ever ate there?
Nope. Have you?
Once.
Was it good?
No.
It wasn't. Why?
No.
What was wrong? What was wrong with the meal?
It was just, I got a burrito, and it was just kind of soft. I mean, I still consider it fast food.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Taco Bell fan either, but I went there. Someone told it was really good, and I know a lot of people that just love it, but I just didn't think it was very good at all. I wish I would have shorted it when I had my first meal there, but I'm sure I would have taken some heat. You got a really ugly looking chart here, Dennis. You have that big drop off, and then you could almost say you got another head and shoulders pattern.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's ugly. Obviously, you got to look at the pre-market low, 245.50. That's the only really reference point you have in the market. Since it hit that low, it's been able to bounce up to the 257 level. So I'd keep an eye on those two levels, and then going back out to the monthlies here, Dennis. The people that are long are not going to want to hear this, but the next support level I have for CMG is 234.48.
234.48. I mean, this is what happens. These higher multiple stocks, it was trading back when it was at 400 with the P multiple of 45 or 50. It's a restaurant. So eventually, if they don't continue to blow the estimates away, that multiple contracts in a hurry, and that is what we're seeing right now. You're seeing multiple contraction, and as the stock falls, they didn't miss by too much, 2 cents, but the company, when they have those high multiples, need to blow the numbers away. When they miss, they beat them up, and that's what you're seeing here this morning. So, the multiple's starting to get a little bit better, but it's still relatively high, so it's still a scary stock for me.
Yeah.
What's the multiple right now? It's still kicking around the 30s, is it not?
I don't have that in front of me, but just looking at this CMG and just another stock that in the same sector has had a run, not quite a parabolic run, but take a look at this Panera chart. I mean, if you wanna, I don't know if Einhorn's kicking around in Panera. I do like Panera.
I like Panera too.
Yeah,
I hate to dog that one. I think that food's great at Panera.
I'm just saying, sometimes
a little scary.
Things it's trading down $3 in the pre-market.
That's with the Chipotle numbers. Yeah.
So obviously, you got to keep an eye on if you're trading that stock. The 165 level looks important, but I'll have to do a little research over the weekend if I'm not too busy watching sports to find out when they report next.
Yeah, Panera could be an interesting one though, and it's kind of looking a bit toppy too. Like yesterday's action broke the chart down a little bit. Today's looks like it will as well. So a little bit scary chart there for Panera too. I tend to agree with you on that one, Joel. Honeywell reported here too. I'm actually got a position on in Honeywell. I'm short the stock, so I'm kind of happy with that this morning. I just seen that key 62 level. I took it through earnings. I don't always love to do that, but it wasn't a huge position. I just decided to play around with a few hundred shares, and I'm trying. And obviously the stock's trading down here this morning at $1.30. I'm kind of hoping it can cut through this 60 level, but 60 looks like it could give some pretty good support.
Yeah, that has been holding as support since the middle of the month when it hit 60.05. So I would keep an eye on that level. Not a lot of trades in here, Dennis.
No.
So keep an eye. There's not a. I know you don't have a lot of volume on, but not a lot of volume has knocked this stock down. Over a point below this $60 level. Gets kind of scary here. You run into some air, and you're looking at the 59.32 low back on September 28th.
Parker Hannifin reported earnings here this morning as well. And this stock can be a little bit of a tell for the overall market. Industrial machinery, they provide parts and machinery parts to a lot of different companies. The comments were not good. They said the economic picture remains uncertain. That's just a tell for the overall economy as well that I don't like hearing. $1.57 against estimates of $1.73, so a flat out miss. They cut their guidance to 615 to 675. The guidance was up at 710 to 790. Everything wrong at Parker Hannifin this morning. Stock closed pretty strong at 85.07, but it's trading $79 right now. And you can't say that technical analysis doesn't mean anything because it's found support here right now at 79, and the old lows here in this whole 79 area, 78.30 area. We had a lot of three lows right between 78 and 79, and that is where it's trying to find support.
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to rule out the 77 low. That not rule it out, but it traded 77 in the pre-market, just on a couple hundred shares. This 78 does look like a good level. Had the low at 78.30 on the 10th of this month. So you'll be looking for support right in that $78 level. After that, there is quite a bit of air down to 76, but they'd really have to be whooping up on this stock to get down to 76. Coming back in the pre-market, someone's decided to do some selling here at 79.50 area. You're finding a little bit of resistance there. If in fact it can break above 79.50, it might get a little whoosh up of short
I
covering.
just can't see the stock rallying though. Said so many bad things here. It makes me even nervous. Like you can say it's got support in here now, but I am somewhat nervous just from reading what the report was there that it could end up taking out those lows and start moving lower. So a little bit scary here to pick a bottom on it, but if you're short the stock, it's not a bad area to think about covering. SanDisk reported too. Here's a good report. We finally got one. A good report. They beat 48 cents against estimates of 33. They had some upbeat comments too. So SNDK trading significantly higher, up 7% in the pre-market at 45.82. It closed at 42.86. Probably could go and flirt with those highs we made there back in September 19th. 46.99 was the high back then.
Yeah, well, you've topped out at 45.90 in the pre-market, and pretty good volume there associated with this trading. So, got to give a little more credence to that. If in fact it can break above 45.90, there is a high going back to September 21st at 46.82, and a few days before that you had a high of 46.99. But boy, I tell you, if some people aren't using this opportunity to take profit from a stock that was trading at $32 back in July, I'd be a little bit surprised. Coming back on the downside, been finding some very, very minor support here at 45.30. If in fact it takes out 45.30, you could try and sneak into yesterday's range in the 44 handle.
J&J, the rally continues in the stock ever since it's broken out this 2 days ago above that 70. Been straight up 2 days straight up. Can the J&J rally continue? 72.52 closed right near the high of the day. Trading 72.48. It's right there right now. Will this continue, Joel?
Well, it's first going to have to deal with its all-time high, 72.76. I was looking at that. That's been the all-time high in the stock. Thursday's high got up to 72.74, so I'm sure there'll be some size kicking around. 72.75 up to 73. Coming back on the downside here, you got minor support at 72. Under that, things are wide open. There's a lot of air underneath this stock, but if you're shorting it, keep an eye on 72.76. That's all I can say.
Just to close up, you wanted to mention this double bottom in Chevron Corporation. I'm not sure if that's going to hold here or not, but yesterday and the day before we had the same exact bottom here, right around that 114. Where was the bottom that you were talking about, Joel?
114.36,
114.36.
Yeah. I wanted to point that out to our traders. I also just wanted to point out as well. Obviously, the stock is overcoming a weak earnings report. You had a nice 3-day rally in the stock after it hit 111.10. But notice over the last 2 days, it's really consolidated in tight ranges. So there are buyers out there, but the sellers seem to be lowering their bogey below 114.36. You could look at a little bit of a drop down to the 113.32 level, which would be the 3-day low.
Let's talk about Apple just before we close, because Apple obviously sold off a little bit in sympathy there with Google yesterday, but then started to find some support in that 631 area again.
Yeah, it was kind of late in the day when it went through 631, so people were using that opportunity to perhaps cover some shorts overnight. What I've noticed, and this kind of similar to the market, when a stock hangs around a support level like that and keep hanging around, chances are it's going to go through it. Below the 630, I mean, you have the lows of the move here at 623 double. That'll be major support. See if it can get through 630 today. In the pre-market, it has traded as low as 629.65, but have to respect it as support until it rolls over.
Honey Badger market continues to hold up, only down 3 despite a few bad reports here again today. So this market continues to be resilient. Can we go up with all this bad earnings out there?
Well, we have to get through the close first. 1450, 150 should be resistance, as well as the Globex high. 1453.50 has been the Globex high, and just looking at the daily chart on the SPOOs, we kind of had this yo-yo effect here, getting down in the 1420 handle, and then really struggling up here in the 1450s. That's the scenario. Again, there's enough bad news to send this thing back down to the 1420s, but it just won't do it. So that's our show for today, folks. Have a good weekend.